On Wednesday, my youngest daughter is pregnant. She woke up in some kind of pain at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and some pain in her back. And at about 8 o'clock, she and her husband went to the hospital, and she was being checked out. Everything was okay with the baby. And throughout the day, she was just texting me. She didn't call me. She just texting me what was going on. And previously, if anything was going on with my daughters, I would be so anxious and just waiting for a report and waiting by the phone, and just in such distress. And the first miracle was that not only was I not in that frame of mind, but I became stronger and stronger throughout the day, almost grateful that I wasn't hearing anything, because I had more time to build my faith and pray for her. And then I end up praying for all the other pregnant young women and all their babies. And, in the meantime, we had our group, this group, and, praying in tongues for all the pregnant women and her. And so, to make a long story short, she was fine. They said it was probably a kidney stone that had passed through. And, so she was fine. She got home. And was able to rest, and everything was good. But the real testimony, well, not only about my change of, my whole change of everything since I've been able to pray in tongues and use the word and build my faith, but her husband happened to have, he's a young lawyer, and he happened to have his biggest day in court that day. And he could have called me. Could have called his mom to be with my daughter, but he didn't. He stayed. And what I mean by his biggest day was there's a huge court case that he was doing all the legwork for almost this whole year. It had gone to trial, and then it came back to trial. So it was like the focus of his whole career that day. And he chose to be with his wife and his baby. And so he didn't have to be there, because all of his work was done. It was the experienced lawyers that had to present, and they did win the case. And he found out about that. As soon as he got home with her, he got on his suit and tie, went over, and, he had found out that they won, and it was just an amazing thing. But what happened was that there was a press conference. It was a huge case. And there was a press conference and pictures and all kinds of publicity. And he was in all of that. He was in all the pictures in the press conference. And, he he was, it was as if he was there. And, my whole, my whole perception was that, he did the right thing. And I had heard a teaching by Brother Johnson. And I think even in one of his praise and worship songs, there's a small teaching within that praise and worship on the favor of God. And I just saw this favor of God being poured out on this young man because he had done the right thing. And, it was just so amazing, because they not only won the case, but it was as if he was there all day, because, he was with the team when they were being it was all in the publicity. And he was given all kinds of accolades and rewards from the team, and it was a shining moment for him. And the other thing about favor is that I think in the teachings it talks about diligence incurring God's favor, obedience incurring God's favor. There's some beautiful teachings there that I hopefully can find for you. But more than that, even I was reading about the gifts of the Holy Spirit, the fruits of the Holy Spirit, I should say: patience, love, kindness, gentleness. Just this morning, and it struck me that he was bearing those fruits all day that day with her, and how the favor of God is incurred by living in the fruits of the Holy Spirit. And it's just so amazing to me how this turned out, this challenge for them and for me, and how we were so blessed by following the instructions, by being who God needed us to be and having faith and just, having joy even through it all. Um, so that's the story. And you were all part of it because like I said, I was praying for, her and the situation um that day, and was able to pray with all of you, and it's just so wonderful.